Do you believe that once a cheater, always a cheater?
In today's episode, Dr. Carl Benzio shares shocking misconceptions about once a cheater, always a cheater.
Joining us on this interview is my friend, Dr. Carl Benzio. He has helped millions of people all over the world be a better decision maker.
There's hope for everybody. There's transformation that can be had for anybody. In our carnal state, we're always cheaters, right? We're all cheating on Jesus. And everybody can either fall into the trap and continue to escalate and spiral in a negative way, or turn their life over to God and really understand what that means and start to walk with Him and have people around you that are unbinding you on a regular basis.
Adele and I are learning that you guys are joining us from all over the world. Would you mind sharing with us in the comments, where are you joining us from today?
In our carnal state, we're always cheaters, right? We're all cheating on Jesus with various different idols, and
Wow.
from a relational standpoint, we're always cheaters. From a earthly standpoint, if we're talking about sexual sin, or even from a pornography standpoint, I see that as a sexual sin and
Sure.
cheating when we're using pornography. Even I would say that there's hope for everybody. There's transformation that can be had for anybody, whether you're the lowest of the low and a pedophile, or whether you're a person who does it one time. And everybody can either fall into the trap and continue to escalate and spiral in a negative way, or turn their life over to God and really understand what that means and start to walk with Him and have people around you that are unbinding you on a regular basis, and you can grow and be somebody just like I was. People looked at me back and knew me who I was in college and high school. They were like, "Well, there's no way that could be that same person as back then. Right? It's impossible." But God has done an incredible thing in my life. I think that's available for anybody.
Yes.
Thank
And
you.
it's just the miracle of Jesus in someone's life that is just,
Yeah.
it's incredible to see.
Yeah, when we start to say things aren't possible, especially from a human standpoint, then we have to question: well, is the cross powerful enough to save us?
Sure.
Like, if people are that powerful that they can overpower or be outside of God's power, well then, maybe the cross isn't enough. Maybe there's something more powerful than the cross. We obviously don't believe that, but yet how can we believe that somebody can't be transformed from something I'm not saying as minimal as sexual sin, but in the overall scheme of things, that's we all struggle with who we are, inadequacy, insecurity, needing affirmation, needing stimulation, needing somebody to pay attention to us, to think we're important, to think we're valuable, or that part of our lifelong struggle. We're trying to get that through God and turn that over to God, but we're all in spurts and stops, and sometimes we go backwards and reverse. In that movement along that spectrum of how are we getting that acknowledged and delivered fully, those desires of our heart from God and the healthy things that God provides, versus getting just twisted a little bit and getting them fulfilled in an unhealthy way, whether it's just a very subtle, unhealthy way of mild porn, or eating, or just isolating, and not, that we have this thing where, okay, I'm going to go and do something with somebody else outside of my marriage. But sort of similar to that is, well, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to, hole up and isolate and restrict myself from my spouse. Both of those are pretty similar. To me, that would hurt me as much if my wife, if Martine did that to me, as if she went out and did something with somebody else. We don't necessarily ingrain to think of it that way, because, they're cheating with somebody else. They've chosen that person over me. Well, the fact that she would choose nothing over me is like even worse. To isolate and have nothing over having Carl, that's pretty belittling, right? But we don't often think of it that way. If she was with a stud who was 20 years old, and he was, great at pickleball, and he did all these other really cool things, and he had $1 billion, all right. Well, it's better than me. That makes a little bit of sense. But to choose nothing, to say that nothing is actually better than Carl, to be in isolation or to be alone, or, to not engage, that's even more debilitating to me.
Yeah.
This reminds me of a program we have had a lot of success in. It's called Walking Through Betrayal. It is a great step-by-step guide that the betrayer and the betrayed can, in a healthy, God-honoring way, go together toward their healing that God wants them to have.
I don't think there's any other program out there like this. This program is based on the design of how we walked through our healing. So we know it works. It works for couples that are walking through crisis. And so if that is you, we want to encourage you, go check that out. You don't have to spend all the hours in a counselor's office or even spend a lot of money on your healing. We've designed this program so that you can get your first steps towards healing right here inside this program. So we want to encourage you, if you're walking through betrayal, and even if your spouse isn't on board, go check out this program. It will make a lasting impact on your healing.
We'll put the link in the description, and please go check that out. If you would like to see more content around betrayal and crisis in marriage, please consider subscribing to our channel. Every week we put out a new video that could support you, support your marriage, and support your healing. Thank you for considering.
A quick lens into their heart is looking at unrealistic expectations or misplaced dependencies. So oftentimes, and there's some overlap between the two, oftentimes we have these unrealistic expectations of what that other person is going to provide to us. I have needs, and this person is the answer to my needs. Either your needs are going to be we all have needs. Our needs are going to be met in healthy ways,
Right.
or our needs are going to be met in unhealthy ways.
Right.
So whenever we're healthy and we're getting our needs met in healthy ways and we're thriving in that, then we're not going to be as tempted by the unhealthy ways that our needs could be met. Because those unhealthy ways sort of take energy, they take effort, and there's potential drawback, and they don't resonate in our spirit.
Hey, wait a minute. Before you click off this video, if you found value in this, would you click the like button for us? Thank you for joining us. We'll see you in next week's episode.